Hello everybody, my name is Vito Bell. If this is your first time checking into my channel, I am 20 years old, going to school for music and Spanish, and I love wet shaving. I've been wet shaving, DE shaving for a really long time now, and I just started making these YouTube videos, and I'm having such an amazing time meeting y'all, hearing your comments, and I'm so honored and grateful to keep making these videos for you guys. So jumping right into this video in particular is the first video in a series of 4 videos that will be centered around troubleshooting your shaving. So why is shaving irritating? Well, there are many different reasons why your shave could be more irritating than you'd like it to be. I decided to make these videos because I know a lot of people who are either scared or a little hesitant about starting to either DE shave or wet shave, just because they've had bad experiences in the past. They either have just had really irritating shaves with regards to razor burn and cuts, or maybe they just have a lot of tugging and pulling, and all of those things can be fixed, I believe, either with changing your technique, your instruments, your soap, just a lot of things can be changed, and I think anyone can get a good shave. I really do think that anyone, no matter your growth, no matter how much money you have, I think everyone can get a really, really good shave if they just have the right tools and the information to do so. So this video is going to address lather, and all the other videos are going to be about technique, instruments, and external factors. So if you like this video, or you feel like you have problems with either technique, instruments, or external factors in your shaving, or are curious about the external factors, feel free to check in to the other videos. I'd love to hear your comments, and we'll get right into it. So lathering, I think lather is one of the 4 factors that influence shaving greatly. So what goes into lather? Well, I believe that the amount of water you use, the time you spend working it, and how often you use it, and the kind of soap you use are the 4 things that go into a good lather. So going into the amount of water. So I think that too much water will create a wet, thin, and bubbly shave. So this is what it looks like if you use too much water in your shave, in your soap while you lather. So if you look here, there are big old bubbles on my cheek. It looks kind of thin in places, thicker in other places. If your soap looks like this, then use less water. Add it in little bit by little bit at increments. Take your time. It's way easier to put water in than it is to take it out. So just add little bits at a time and you'll be fine. Next up, too little water will give you a dry and thin shaving soap, a dry and thin lather. So here's an example of what that looks like. As you can see, you don't see the large bubbles anymore. However, you really don't see any bubbles at all. Now this would be fine if I added a little more water into it, but this lather right here would likely dry up and flake away really, really quickly and give you a very irritating shave. So while it does look kind of thick, and it looks pretty worked. If your shaving lather looks like this, then you will probably want to start putting a little more water in it. Now, I believe that this is what I would say is a happy medium in between the two. So if you look, you can see peaks in it down at my neck down here. It kind of has this marbling thing going on my cheeks, which is another thing I like to look for, the peaks and then the marbling. The marbling is when you kind of paint it on and it kind of starts rolling over itself. And one way that I like to do that is while I'm shaving, I'll start using less and less pressure on the brush. And what that does is as the brush separates from my face, all of this in here, all this space that you can see is going to become lather. So if you're pressing all the time and you're wondering, why don't I have this thick lather appearing on my face? Well, try using less pressure as you're doing it and eventually just start painting it on at a distance. And when you paint it on with leaving room in between your skin and the brush, you'll start creating that really thick lather that you're looking for and that I like to look for. Another thing I like to look for is I can't see my skin through the soap. So if you look on my cheeks, you can't really see any of my skin through the soap. That's something I really like to look for. Another thing is I can't really see the color of my hair. I just kind of see that there's hair there. If you can see your hair through your soap, you probably haven't layered it on thick enough. Another thing I like to look for, or feel for really, is can you feel the brush on your skin? If you still feel the bristles of the brush hitting your skin, then you might want to keep working it longer. There's a certain slickness that shaving soap has that if you work it right, you will be able to feel on your face. And you can feel that in your fingers too. When you rub it around, you should feel a slickness on your face before you take the brush off and put the razor on. But like I said earlier, this is what I would recommend your lather to look like. I used a tallow soap for this. I think I used Proraso. I used Proraso Red for this. But side note, getting these 3 pictures was very, very time consuming because I wanted each one to be perfect, and I spent probably close to 30-45 minutes just reapplying soap, and my face was so dry afterwards. I have a really, really sensitive face, sensitive skin, so I'm definitely going to think harder about doing this next time. Alright, so we went over the amount of water. Now, I think the amount of time you spend working it is another big factor that influences the quality of your lather while shaving. So, I think if you work it too little, you'll get wet, thin, and bubbly. It'll look like this. And I think that can be achieved either not working it enough or not putting too much water in it. Sorry, yeah. Not working it enough and putting too much water in it. Now, if you work it too much, if you lather it too much on your face, I don't really see a problem in that. I've never really been able to work a soap too much. You know, you could work it for 20 minutes and have the most beautiful soap ever, but your skin might not love you so much. Your skin might be a little irritated after that much soap on FaceTime. But I really do think that you can't lather a soap enough. You know, every time you run the brush over your face, you're cutting those bubbles in half, and that makes your soap richer and fuller and thicker. So I definitely suggest try lathering it too much. You know, the difference between a beautiful soap and kind of a not so beautiful soap could be the difference between 1 minute extra time and 2 minutes extra time lathering. So try working it a little more if you are getting a wet, thin, and bubbly soap, even with adding the correct amount of water. Next up, the type of soap itself. So I would suggest all beginners to start off with kind of a name brand soap. By name brand, I mean RazoRock or Proraso, or Arco or Williams. Those are all really great soaps to start out with, I think. They'll give you a good, control group when before you start really getting funky and experimenting with fun soaps from the flea market or from the farmer's market or from, individual locally owned companies in your area. So definitely start name brand is what I would suggest. Next up, do your research when it comes to soap. By that, I mean go online, watch videos, look at reviews, look at the ingredients, and because who knows, maybe if you bought the soap and you don't like it a lot, maybe there are a million other people who also hate that soap. So definitely do your research and look up each soap you buy. I would definitely suggest doing that. And lastly, I really do think there is such a thing as a bad soap. I bought a soap a while ago. This soap, I don't have a name brand for you right now. This soap, oh my gosh, it smells great. It smells amazing. I mean, really, really amazing. It was cheap, very affordable for me, and horrible, horrible lather. I couldn't shave with this thing. Oh my gosh, it would kill me. So what I use it now for is I break in my brushes with it. I break in all my natural hair brushes with it, and that's been a good use for it, but I'll never shave with it. There is such a thing as a bad soap. You really do get what you paid for when you buy shaving soap, shaving supplies, so don't be afraid to spend a couple extra bucks on a good name brand soap like Razo and RazoRock. Each of these run around $10 to $15 online, and that's so worth it. You know, even if you buy a $20 soap like Taylor of Old Bond Street, that's a cream, you will definitely get $20 out of that, if not more. Each of these will last you for years and years and years, so don't be afraid to spend a little extra money on a better soap. Now, I believe that is the end of the lather video. So if you are interested in learning more about my thoughts on either technique, instrument, or external factors, please tune into the other videos. Other than that, thank you so much for your time. Like I said earlier, I'm so honored and so grateful to make these videos for you guys. I'd love to hear your comments or questions in the comment section. And if you'd like to support the channel, please consider liking this video, subscribing to my channel, and commenting on the videos. I really do love connecting with you guys. And once again, thank you so much. Have a great day. Happy shaving. And I'll see you next time.